When Elon Musk first rolled out the Cybertruck in 2019, it looked like the future had crash-landed in the middle of a Home Depot parking lot. This wasn't just a car. This was a statement. Stainless steel, bulletproof glass, angular design ripped straight out of Blade Runner. Musk didn't unveil a truck. He unveiled a sci-fi hallucination that you could pre-order for just $100. He called it the truck of the future, and people believed him. Pre-orders flooded in, 1.9 million supposedly. The internet lost its mind. Tesla fanboys cried actual tears. Even the broken window moment, where the bulletproof glass shattered on stage, somehow became a marketing win. That's how you know it's real, they said. He's authentic. And you know what? For a while, it all felt kind of exciting. A truck that looked like a spaceship, with the performance of a supercar, and the price of a Camry? Elon promised a starting price of $39,900, 500+ miles of range, solar panels on the roof, a built-in ramp for ATVs, and yes, bulletproof armor. It sounded ridiculous, because it was. But we wanted to believe. We wanted to believe that one man could reinvent not just the truck, but the entire idea of transportation. That he could beat Ford, Chevy, Toyota, and Detroit at their own game. That he could defy the rules of physics, and business, and common sense, because, well, he's Elon. But something happened between the promise and the delivery. 4 years later, the Cybertruck showed up, and it was different. Not in a wow, it's even better than we expected kind of way. More like, oh, this is it? Because here's what we actually got. A starting price over $100,000 for the good version, less range than promised, a comically massive, impractical design, and only 2.5% of pre-order customers actually followed through and bought one. Suddenly, the future looked a lot like a scam, and no one wants to admit they got scammed, especially not tech bros with crypto haircuts and Tesla tattoos. But what if the Cybertruck was never supposed to be a real truck? What if the whole thing, from the steel panels to the pre-order hype to the broken glass moment, was something else entirely? What if the Cybertruck wasn't a failure, but a genius scam that worked exactly as planned? Awesome, I'm glad it's hitting the mark. The Scam Revealed, where we start connecting the emotional setup to hard evidence and pull back the curtain on how the whole Cybertruck rollout was actually a carefully orchestrated hustle. The more you dig into the Cybertruck, the more it starts to feel less like a product and more like a pitch deck. Let's start with the $100 pre-orders. It was genius. Tesla didn't just announce a vehicle. They launched the greatest crowdfunding campaign in automotive history. One that raked in, on paper, nearly $200 million in interest-free capital from fans who thought they were buying a truck of the future. But $100? That's not a serious investment. That's a meme bet. That's the price of a weird hoodie or some Dogecoin. So millions of people jumped in, not because they planned to buy a Cybertruck, but because it felt like owning a piece of Elon's next big thing. And that was the scam. It wasn't about delivering trucks. It was about building hype. Tesla kept the Cybertruck in the headlines for 5 years without shipping a single unit. Every delay became a new round of press. Every promise became a new chance to trend on Twitter. And every tweak, from range estimates to performance specs, could be quietly altered without consequence. You see, there were never any consequences, because this wasn't about the truck. This was about the story. But when the truck did finally launch, reality hit like a brick through armor glass. The actual Cybertruck costs more than double what was promised, offers less range, has serious quality control issues, just Google the panel gaps, is so massive it barely fits in a standard garage. And despite all the hype, most people just don't want it. Remember those 1.9 million pre-orders? Only about 2.5% of those translated into real purchases. That means 97.5% of people backed out. That's not bad follow-through. That's catastrophic. Tesla spent 5 years building a meme tank for rich guys. Why? Because building a $25,000 car takes engineering, discipline, and focus. But building a $100,000 distraction? That's easy. Especially when your CEO is more focused on Mars, memes, and weird AI conferences than actual vehicles. And let's talk about full self-driving. Still not here, still not close. And yet it keeps getting bundled into the narrative like it's just around the corner. Like this time, it'll finally deliver. But it won't. It never does. Because the scam isn't the Cybertruck. The scam is pretending Tesla is still a car company. This used to be a company that made clean, elegant, forward-thinking electric vehicles. Now it makes toys for billionaires, tweets for attention, and big promises no one expects to be kept. Even longtime Tesla fans are frustrated. You don't hear people talking about Model S Plaid anymore. You hear them talking about misaligned doors. 7. Thank you so much.